When you want only the best for your pet, check out AbbybellPetDesigns.com. We offer quality products such as floppy beds, crate pads, round pet beds, pillow slip covers, belly bands, and more. All products come in a variety of colors and sizes, guaranteed to satisfy your pet's particular style. Your pet deserves to be pampered, so shop at AbbybellPetDesigns.com. If you don't see the item you want listed in our shop, just drop us a line and we'll be glad to make the product of your pet's dreams. AbbybellPetDesigns.com. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, Teresa. Hey, Noelle. Looks like I'm having problems again today with YouTube. So I'm not sure if anybody can join us on YouTube or not. We'll see. I'll try to fix it for tomorrow. Hopefully I can. Hey, Cindiana. Hey, Alan. How's everybody? Anybody who can hear me on YouTube, please come over to Periscope if you can't see me on YouTube. Not sure what's happening with it, but it was having problems yesterday and it's starting to have a little bit today. It says the health stream is not healthy. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. Hey, everybody, please come on in and invite people in, and then we'll get started. Hey, Barbara. Good morning, Daniel. Daniel, did you find out about the dog? Is it a whippet or... Hey, Carmen. Hey, Big Al. All right, so as you come in, as you invite people, because we have a lot to discuss today, so please let's bring people in. I'm going to read a little bit of Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, the very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling. There is a river whose stream shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her just as at the break of dawn. The nations raised, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. All right. All right, now it looks like YouTube is starting to get healthy again. Hey, Judy, good to see you. How's everybody else doing? Okay, so don't forget today is God's views on political news. That's at 1 o'clock Eastern on Facebook. It'll be live. Change your thoughts of her being a whippet, but she's so mixed, I don't know. Cool, Daniel. Hey, Lori. Hey, Brandon. And that would be on the God's Views on Political News page. You can ask comments, make comments, and ask questions there. Change. Hey, Kim, how are you? We have a bot already. Good morning, Lori. How are you? All the bots are knocking people off, I see. So try to get rid of them and block those bots if you can. So I don't know if you've been. Hey, Robin. Good morning. I don't know if you've been watching, all the stuff that's going on with Omarosa. I won't be talking too much about her because I don't want to give her any more time than she already wants. But the consensus is, hey, Wayne. The general consensus is the woman is a liar. She's always been a liar, and she will probably always remain a liar. She was working with the Clintons before, and reading some of the things that the people said about her when she was working for the Clintons and Gore, and she was actually in the administration, sort of. They said that she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. She caused everybody else to get in trouble. She can't keep her lies straight. No, she can't. And it was so funny. Katrina Pearson, it was a former campaign person with the Trump administration. Hey, Mrs. Andrew Vaughn, how are you? Said basically that she felt really bad for her because she even had to go out and buy a fake engagement ring. She was surprised to learn that Omarosa had to do that. So she feels that Omarosa is doing this for money because she's so desperate for money. but again, everybody that she's come out and said, this person said that, or they called me the N word, or they called this person this and that, has all of the people have said, no, it's not true. It's absolutely not true. And Omarosa, if you ever watched her on the Apprentice, she's a liar. You know, Judith Cindiana said, well, she's just a liar. She really is. And I honestly think that she believes it's okay to be a liar, because that's what her whole character is about. You know, lying, deceit. How much can you get? How much can you go in and, you know, compete and lie and win against the other, whoever it is, adversary, and without even thinking for 1 second how absolutely wrong and criminal that is in a lot of cases. She's not doing that at all. And this is, you know, going against President Trump. How low can you go? You've been friends with this man since about 2004. Hey, Kat, he's given you everything. She loves the government. Yeah, she does love the government teeth. She really does, Judy. But this guy, you know, the president, has, before he was president, gave her a job, gave her the notoriety that she has. And this is how you thank somebody? I can't imagine any reputable company hiring her after this. And you know, I think that she feels that there's going to be a role for her somewhere. Oh, no worry about your cooking. It's okay. No one ever called her the N-word. No, they never did. No one ever called her the N-word. Nobody ever called anybody else the N-word. Nobody ever called anybody slurs. There was an accusation that she made that against Kelly and Conway's husband. She said that the president was saying things about him in slurs because he's part Filipino. And he's like, that never happened. That's ridiculous. The woman is ridiculous. And even President Trump's former attorney, when she said that, you know, President Trump did something in front of the attorney, basically that the attorney gave President Trump a note and President Trump ate it. He's like, that never happened. Why would you even believe such silliness? And so it is such silliness, and it's all to sell a book. And honestly, I don't know how void you have to be of a conscience to go out and do something like that, to make a book of lies, and that you are so desperate. Hey, Alan, that you make a book of lies in order to try to make money. I mean, where is your soul? And I guess what really is disturbing to me, that's disturbing enough, but the fact that she's married to a pastor. What does this pastor, what does her pastor husband have to say about his wife? What should he say about his wife? I mean, come on. It's scary that she's this way. It's scary that people allow her to be this way. And some people, everybody on the left most likely, will go out and buy her book, and then they will take, she's a pastor too, that's right, Judy, and they will go out and they will quote from this book as though it's the Bible, and they will pretend that it's factual. They will pretend that it's factual, and that'll be it. What kind of pastor? Not a very good one, Alan. I guess evangelical, I'm not sure, but I don't know. Somebody said, I remember reading that she got her degree from somewhere in Ohio, I believe, and has a doctorate in ministry. And so, you know, again, it's pretty disheartening. Mary, she probably believes her. And the thing of it is, again, you know, biblically speaking, if you're doing stuff like that as a minister, you're held to a higher standard. So she should be worried. She should be concerned about her own soul and leading others astray, because there will be people who are Christian who will believe her and be led astray by her lies. Not good. Not good at all. So I don't know. It's pretty amazing. Hey guys, how are you? Hey Lee, good to see you. Comey's book read like a 7th grader wrote it. I can't imagine how bad her book will be. Cindiana, I could almost place money on the fact that she did not write that book, that she had ghostwriters writing that book. I would bet money on that one. So, you know, Comey, yeah, he's so egotistical. He would write his own book no matter how bad it was. Omarosa, I think she's got ghostwriters. I think people wanted it to be, a book that they could use against the president and wanted to ensure that it was good. And Robin said she's a false teacher. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are seeing more and more false teachers. Cindy and I said, yes, you're right. I mean, it's a shame. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. You know, I was online the other day. I'm finding it's very disheartening to see those people who are calling themselves bishops or ministers or pastors. There was one, somebody probably put her up to it. Well, Cindiana Money put her up to it. They said, hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you go out and do this. I'm sure. Why, she wouldn't have done it for any other reason other than money. And, you know, I'm telling you, Omarosa, I don't think she's as savvy enough to come up with the titles and of the book and what is in that book. I don't think she's savvy enough. I really don't. I think she's got a well planned out script. I saw her yesterday talking to Judy Woodworth. I think that's her name. I can't even remember. I haven't seen her in so long. On PBS, I stopped by to watch that. That was agonizing. She was very well rehearsed, very calm, and you know that's not Omarosa. Don't give Omarosa any more time. She is a snake. Hey, Cully. And I think that Judy Woodworth, Judy Woodruff, that's her name. She said that, I'll be glad to turn over. She's a hustler. Yeah, Kate, she is. A cat. Anyone can get a minister's license online. That's true. But she didn't. Carmen, she went to school for it. But anyway, she was very calm and everything else. She's the one that is unhinged. Absolutely, Brandon. She is very unhinged. And people are saying, I feel sorry for her. And even, like I said, April Ryan, who was for her, is now saying, don't even mention my name out of your mouth. I mean, that's pretty bad. And I think that she thought this book was going to get her back into the good graces of the African-American people who didn't want her to be working for the president. Hope we're all okay today. Yes, Lee, how are you? $29.95 online. That's the price of her book? Got to be kidding me. Wow. That's ridiculous. Sickening how these people are getting, trying to get rich by slandering our president, Dark Times reporter. Yes, April. Yes. I was disappointed to hear Donald using the Lord's name in vain on the tape. Well, Brandon, people do say those things, I mean, it doesn't. Hey, Lisa, everybody's a sinner, right? I mean, so if you're expecting Donald Trump or anybody else to be perfect, you're going to be sadly disappointed because everybody does it. And he's no different than you or me. I mean, he really isn't. He's not a pastor. I hate the word too, but, he's not a pastor. He's not held to a higher standard as a pastor. And speaking of pastors, Dr. Alveda King came out against Omarosa and said, look, at all the times that I was around her in different meetings and whatever, she never once said that there was anything wrong, and there were times that she could have done that. And Alveda King was saying, basically I feel sorry for her that she's doing this type of thing, and obviously doing it for money. I mean, it is obvious. We knew he wasn't a choir boy. That's right, Cindiana, and I don't expect him to be. Again, I think that, people kind of do want to put Donald Trump on a pedestal sometime and think that he should be this or that and the other. He's a person, just like you and me. He happens to be very business savvy and very, very good at what he does. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have human failings. There are so many false preachers that people are defending. Read the Word of God for yourself and you can discern who they are, Robin said. Yeah, she taped Jared and Ivanka. Who didn't she tape is the thing of it. And she was with Judy Woodruff, she was saying, I signed a non-disclosure along, before, like when I was working on the campaign or whatever. It's okay, Barbara. But she said, I didn't sign that when I started working at the White House. Ministry is very lucrative, and some people, unfortunately, just do it for the money. I was speaking of that. I was looking online. There was a man by the name of Bishop Swan. I don't know who he is. Hey, Teresa. I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him. He's an African American, claims to be a bishop, and he was having some argument with somebody, saying that You know, I've heard everybody talk down about Obama and call him every name and every slur, and now you expect me to follow Romans 13. Okay, so I'm going to get off onto the Bible a few minutes, and hopefully people won't leave when I say the word God here. But the thing of it is, Romans 13 is written for all of us. It says that you must submit to your government unless your government goes against the word of God. So I wrote back to the bishop and said, you know, basically, Bishop, you're the one who's leading your flock, and you're held to a higher standard. And you can't say, I'm not going to follow Romans 13 because somebody else didn't follow it. You don't get that out to do that. So, I mean, that is a bishop talking to his flock saying you don't have to follow a principle of the Bible because somebody else didn't. I mean, how far off the tracks are some of the bishops and pastors that we're seeing today? It's absolutely alarming, and where they're taking their flock. And the flock for him, I don't know about his church, where it is or anything else, but he's got the flock following him on Twitter that he's absolutely leading astray. So, you know, again, that was a little bit too much for me yesterday. And it's not that I don't expect it. It just is so disappointing once I see it. So, enough right now about Omarosa. Who is this guy? His name was Bishop Swan. I have no idea who he is. Seemed to have a big following, seemed to, you know, claim that he was a bishop. So I'll take his word for it. And that was in his title. Did you respond to him on Twitter? Yes, Lori. That's what I just was talking about. I did respond to him. End time scenario, Cindy said, yeah, guess I do not follow. No, Barbara, I don't follow him either. I just happened to see a comment from somebody else's timeline, I think. And because I don't follow him. So, and that's what I responded to. Because I'm not going to let something like that slide. I didn't know if you meant Facebook. No, it was on Twitter. I'm not going to see something like that and not say something. Especially when I know that somebody claiming to be a pastor, minister, bishop is leading their flock astray. You don't tell your flock not to follow the Bible. I don't care who you are. Anyway. So, in other news, Peter Strzok has really struck gold. Let me just tell you, getting fired from the FBI is going to be one of those things that's going to be doing really well for him. Well, almost how to say this, a lot of people call themselves bishop and it means not a thing. I know, Barbara, he could probably, he could not be ordained, could be. But if you hold yourself out as a pastor and you hold yourself out as somebody who has a flock and leading that flock, I don't think God's going to look and check and see if you have a degree or not. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hey, Kim. So, you know, wouldn't want to be him. What a dog. Yeah. Now a GoFundMe. Yes, Peter Strzok. Alan, thank you. Peter Strzok set up a Twitter account, which somebody said that he set that up back in April. But anyway, it's an anti-Trump type Twitter account, as you might imagine, because we all know that Comey did the same thing with his philosophizing. But he also has a GoFundMe account set up for, it says, legal fees and also to replace his income. Yeah, well, I guess we can identify as pastors. There you go. There you go, Barbara. Strzok can't believe it. I know. So it started out, he wanted to raise $150,000. And yesterday, really early, Comey Proverbs, there you go, Alan. Very early in the day, he already had about $55,000 in that account. He may lose his pension. Well, he should. I'm sorry, but if half of what they say is true that he did, he should lose his pension. But I went to it about 6 o'clock this morning, and the GoFundMe account now, the goal has been changed from $150,000 to $350,000, and he had already made over $234,000 in less than 24 hours. So I'm sure by now it's a lot higher than that, and I'm sure by the time this is all over, the guy's probably going to be a millionaire or close to it. And so it once again, lies and deceit seemingly is paying off for people. And I was really disappointed in Bob Goodlatte's son. He'll write a book too. Oh, You know he will. You know he will. He's probably got it halfway written. Well, I'm starting a GoFundMe. Just kidding. People are nuts, Cully said. Alan, the problem is if you start a GoFundMe, you're going to get zero because you're an honest conservative. Morning again, cleaned my screen and lost everyone. Might be partly fake money. Oh, I don't think so. I think it's real. I think the left thinks that he's a god with a small g, and they're following him and just absolutely love what he's doing. What I was going to say, Bob Goodlat's son. Wait, can I start a GoFundMe page? Well, no, Wayne, because if you're going to be honest, you're not going to get any money. You can start a page, but you're not going to get any money. Demo rats payoff. Exactly, Barbara. Goodlat's son tweeted out this yesterday, and I responded to him as well. I'm deeply embarrassed that Peter Strzok's career was ruined by my father's political grandstanding. That committee hearing was a low point for Congress. Thank you for your service, sir. You are a patriot. Yeah, GoFundMe for the wall. We should do that. But you know, if we did that, GoFundMe would take that down. You know they would. Oh, that boy needs to go to bed. I know, Barbara. That boy does need to go to bed. And what I wrote back to him, and I'm sure he won't see it, but I said Peter Strzok has nobody else but himself to blame for what happened to Peter Strzok. If you look at his text messages, his unprofessionalism, and everything else that he did on that, he got what he deserved. And I said, don't go blaming your father or anybody else for Peter Strzok's own behavior. It's amazing to me how the left, and they do, can look at a behavior like Peter Strzok, the dishonesty, the deceit, all the way through, what he was in charge of, what he hid, the bias, and they can still think that he is some patriot and some hero. And I tell you why. A lot of people say it's a mental disorder on the left. Could be. But the definitions have changed. I never see your tweets. I'm going to look them up. I'm missing some good stuff. Well, see, that's the fact, Lori. I think I'm shadow banned because people who are trying to follow me in here, a lot of people tell me they're not getting notifications. They're getting bumped off every time they speak in the room. And also, when they try to come in and join, they get bumped off when they join. Darn good idea. GoFundMe for the wall. Why don't we act? No notifications, Lynn said. I know. And you can unfollow and then follow back and see if you can get me. But oh, Judy gets, okay, you get him. You get knocked off. Yeah, Judy gets bumped off whenever she comes in. Other people have gotten bumped off. Lynn was telling me, hey, Marlene, Lynn was telling me the other day that she couldn't find me, getting bumped off, tried to retweet, couldn't do it, I mean, all that. Must be blind in one eye and can't see out of the other about Peter. Yeah, I know. And Peter's GoFundMe calls him a proud husband. Barbara said, I do sometimes. Tell him to get a real job like other people. That's disgusting that anyone would give him money. No, I'm shadow banned for sure, Lynn said. I think I'm shadow banned. Nobody, it used to be that people would see my articles and everything and they would retweet all day long. And I have to attach people's names to them in order to get a retweet. Peter, pumpkin eater. I know, Brandon. But he's a proud father and a proud husband, a great husband, Yeah, if that's your definition. And again, I think the definition has changed. In other words, what I mean by that is that if your goal is to get rid of, let's say a President Trump, it would be okay for you to cheat, lie, steal, whatever you need to do in order to make that happen. And it'll be deemed okay, whereas in the past, it would be seen as criminal. We were trying to get smart on Twitter. What was that one? We are trying to outsmart Twitter with tons of retweets and the Trump train, Barbara said. I wouldn't think God thinks that. No, and Marlene, you might want to listen to the beginning that you missed because we talked a lot about what you're just talking about right now. So I believe that's what's happening. Like today, it's okay. Hey, Teresa, it's okay for you to do something like that in the minds of the left. And it's okay to look at somebody like Peter Strzok as a hero if you're on the left because it was to fulfill a purpose. So a lot of it is like, okay, so we think Donald Trump is a crook. This is their thought on the left. So that means because he lies, in their words, he steals, he does this, he does that, it's okay if we do. So it's kind of like the old, if you want to put it in biblical terms, it's almost like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Only in this case, and which, by the way, is not done in the Bible anymore. That was the Old Testament. That's not allowed anymore. But back then, that was based on truth, right? They're not basing their stuff on truth, but it's truth as they see it. Isn't that the definition of a politician? I'm starting to wonder, Brandon, if it, yeah, that is today. Seems very much so. And I'll tell you, I'm going to put this aside just for a second. I want to bring this out. If you haven't listened to Judicial Watch on YouTube, you need to go and do that. They have some short clips that they've made. One will blow your mind about Robert Mueller's connection to the IRS scandal with Lois Lerner. Now, that's nothing. Yeah, it's good, Barbara. That's nothing that anybody has talked about, but you really need to go and listen to that and learn that Mueller, according to Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton, was absolutely in on that whole thing on how to go after the enemies that Obama didn't like, meaning the conservatives, the Tea Party. Robert Mueller was in on that because he was the FBI director. He knew what was happening, and he was in on the whole thing, and the DOJ as well. So then you wonder why nothing happened to Lois Lerner. Oh, geez, I wonder why. And I've been thinking a lot about Jeff Sessions and what happened to Jeff Sessions, and I believe this. When Jeff Sessions went and asked legal counsel what he should do about recusing himself, guess where he went and asked about legal counsel? This is from my understanding, is that he went to the legal counsel, the legal minds in the DOJ. Who were those legal minds? People that came in under Obama. And so, of course, they were going to tell him, no, you should recuse yourself. And I believe he did the right thing because, again, when your lawyer gives you that advice and you don't follow it and there's a problem down the road, the Bar Association is going to come after you and most likely take your bar license away or suspend you, and he couldn't afford to do that. But I think he was duped, and I think that he's too easily duped. Mueller stuff goes on and on. He is so corrupt. Mark Levin took 2 hours one day to show he's corrupt. Barbara, there's nothing about him that isn't corrupt. Remember, he is the guy that removed all references to the Muslims out of the FBI handbook. All the things that the Muslims were doing, all the things that they had caught them doing, because CARE came forward, said to Obama, we don't like this in there, and they took it out under Mueller. Mueller took it out. He removed it. People better get out and vote so the left can't gain any control, or next year will be horrifying for Trump and the rest of us. Absolutely, Robin. I say this like almost on a daily basis, and honestly, you probably get sick of hearing it, but I don't think I can say it enough. If you don't get out and vote, you're going to lose the Republic. And I don't mean, oh, well, that means you have a Democrat in the House. What that means is you're going to lose the Republic. Understand what I'm saying. Rabid dog is the real reference. I know, Barbara. It means that if you had Hillary Clinton in here, let me tell you what this world would be like right now with Hillary Clinton, what the United States would look like. It would be open borders. You would know nothing. If you listen to Tom Fitton, he is having to fight our own Trump-appointed DOJ people and FBI people to try and get any information under a FOIA. Barbara said, go to the polls and take 3 people with you. Not only go to the polls and take 3 people with you, but you better go right now and go to 3 houses and talk about why it's so important that they get out and vote Republican so that we keep the Republic. Yes, people forget Q saying Mueller and Sessions are the plan. It's not true. Wake up. Absolutely, Jerry. If you're still hanging on, follow the plan. It'll all take form and shape. You're kidding yourself. Yes, get them registered. Brandon said, take 3 dead folks with you. We would be in a living hell if Hillary had won, Robin said. Yes, we would. And again, do you know that Judicial Watch can't even get information that they want? Judy said Q is fake. Yes. I mean, and Jack Posobiec is going to drop all that information soon with proof of why that's absolutely true, who it was started by, who took it over, and what happened. Yeah, I know, Jules. If Hillary took it over, we would be in a living hell. I mean, these people are that you see every single minute of every day working against the president would be working to take down the United States. And I mean, you look at these people who are going online. Laura Loomer, for one, who's had her Facebook taken down because she dared say anything about the Muslim population. People are saying, well, gosh, we can say anything. No, you can't. Your freedom of speech is disappearing very rapidly each and every day. And under a Hillary Clinton or anybody else who gets in as a Democrat and takes over this republic, if you think your freedom of speech is gone now, wait and see what happens. This is critical. I mean, I wish I could shout this from the rooftops to tell people this is critical. So I feel bad today. Was telling my husband, he said, well, at least you're not a Democrat. He said that. Oh, you said that to him, or he said that to you? I don't know. Laura is exposing Ellison and the Muslim lady running for governor. Well, have you noticed, Jerry, we talked about Keith Ellison yesterday and the physical abuse allegations against him, and supposedly with a video that anybody could get, and yet the mainstream media still has not talked about Keith Ellison, and the reason is the primaries are today. They're going to wait until after the primaries, and then you're going to hear all about Keith Ellison and how it's all a lie. Hey, Jules. I mean, it's crazy. I can't believe they let those Muslims out on bail. Yes, all of the Muslims that were involved in that compound in New Mexico where they found that dead child, the grandson, the 3-year-old grandson that they were looking for, they feel that boy died in a ritual that tried to take the demons out of him, and the judge allowed all of the defendants to be released just wearing an ankle bracelet because she said the prosecution did not prove that they were a threat to the community. No, they're not a threat to the community. They're just a threat to children. They're a threat to at least 11 children that we know. And how many more children would they be a threat to if they could get their hands on them? Hey, Junebug. I mean, my God. I tell you, I'm probably not in the best of moods today because it is just like I've almost had more than I can take. Living conditions and the weapons alone were bad enough. But, Brandon, I heard about the weapons are like, you know what? You can get those weapons anywhere. It's no big deal. We act afraid of the roaches. Well, Jules, we don't necessarily act afraid of it, but it's a concerted effort. And that's what you have to understand. There's a concerted effort to change America into something that you don't recognize, to take away your culture, to take away everything that you hold dear in America. That is the goal. And that, if you read the Quran, that is the goal. Are Muslims buying people off? I don't know that they're buying people off, Barbara. Why do you have to buy people off when they're helping you? There's no money required. People are freely helping them. The place was literally a bunker. Yeah, Brandon. And if that had been anybody else, that would have been a bunker, and they would have had to stay. And I can't believe there's no flight risk for these people. You think it's okay? Just let them go. They're not going to go anywhere. If you could retweet, we've already passed the halfway point, believe it or not. If you could retweet this, I would appreciate it. Robin said, pray, pray, and pray again. Don't stop. I feel sick over that. They were training children for school shootings. Yeah. But don't worry, Robin, because they're not a threat to the community. Don't worry. People just don't want to offend them. My Muslim cousin got a ration for me yesterday. Marlene said, saw a really interesting talk with John Hagee on this. If you go and read any books about what is happening with the, and I'm not saying every Muslim believes this, but radical Muslim, if you want to use that, their job is to come to America, pretend that they are assimilating, and wait for, the queue to take over. Our friend is not free. Our freedom is not free. Dems want to stop fighting for our freedom and give it away. And there are a lot of Democrats who are right there with those that would want to take over America. They've already, the progressive liberals, I mean, my gosh, they've changed the culture. They've changed the culture already. They've changed, the public schools. They've changed the definition of marriage. They've changed everything. And we're continuing to see change after change as we censor and silence those who would speak the truth. They continue to do what they want to do. They want to take over the world. They're slowly taking over much of Europe. Europe is going to fall. Europe will fall to the Muslims. My cousin that lives in Detroit, I think they're lovely people. There's a 911 call now. Ellison with Amy Carmichael, assault report, May 2005. He had extramarital affair. Well, Jerry, I mean, that's not a surprise. And an extramarital affair is bad. But he's not the president of the United States. My concern is that he physically abused his girlfriend. I do have a problem with that. I do think that is not the character of someone that we want to be a congressperson or an AG. But again, the definitions have changed. For some today, that might be perfectly fine. Dems are being led by pure evil, Robin said. Yes, absolutely. So, I heard by 2030, the local Swedish community will be minority and migrant Muslims. Yep. They've already started killing the elderly and disabled. I can only imagine when Dems get in control. I watched a documentary a couple of years ago that basically said that the only reasons that the Muslims have yet to take over in the United States is because of the Hispanics. Because the Hispanics are still having babies. And they're not being taken over by the Muslim population who continues to have babies. And that's a documentary. It wasn't discriminatory. It wasn't racially based or anything else. It was just factual information. I wish I could remember the documentary. Excuse me. Can't talk today. Because I'm so wound up. Look at every Muslim majority country as a case study, pretty black and white, yeah. But you're not going to be able to talk about it. You're not going to be able to talk about it. It's going to be less and less. It's going to be that you're a racist, you're this, you're that. And you're going to be prevented from speaking about it. And it's coming. If Laura Loomer, if you get Alex Jones, those people. And again, I'm not an Alex Jones watcher. I'm not a fan. I think he's a big sensationalist and everything else. I really do. But he has a right to speak unless he's saying that he's going to kill somebody or do some criminal act against them. He has a right to speak. And you can say, I don't want to listen to him. But he has a right to speak. And he's not being given that right. Meanwhile, Americans are murdering our future generations. We will be taken over. Yep. Absolutely, Robin. It's only a matter of time that the United States will be taken over. It's only a matter of time that the Republic will fall. I don't know when that date's going to be. I don't know if it's a day from now, a million years from now. I don't know, but it's going to happen. Yes, he does have a right to speak. Yep, Kimmy does. And so does Laura Loomer and anybody else that people disagree with. I don't like certain people and what they say. I don't want Louis Farrakhan to say all the nasty, disgusting, vile things that he says. But Louis Farrakhan's still on Twitter. Another incident in London again today. Surprise, right, Lee? We need to remember who did this fight in the Bible and then the Crusades, Barbara said. I mean, it's just amazing. Me either, but he's got rights. If we have to listen to CNN, they should have to suffer with Alex. Yep. And again, if you're going to treat one group or one person this way, you should treat everybody the same, and they're not doing that. And I heard somebody say, I don't know who it was, I can't remember, saying, President Trump, he's got to hurry up, that he knows that this is happening, and it's getting worse and worse, and that President Trump should really do something about it now before the election. Because what's going to happen in the election, or getting closer to 2018, all you're going to see is pro-Democratic ads. That's it. and anti-Trump, anti-Republican ads. You're not going to see anything that we're doing about the Republicans. God help us if he loses in 2020. Yeah, Brandon. And seriously, God help us if he loses in 2020. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean that with everything in me. Meanwhile, Americans are murdering. Yeah. And what's happening is people are preparing for 2020. You talk about lawlessness. You talk about how people will exalt these people like a Peter Strzok, like Bruce Orr, like all of these people that have hurt the United States. Socialism will come in for sure. Absolutely, Brandon. It already mostly is here, Brandon, because you remember under Obama how socialism was so rampant. Plus, the voting system can be rigged. Yep. We have paper ballots here in California. The Marine Corps was started to fight Muslim pirates. That's why they're called leathernecks, Barbara. That leather strap on their necks was to keep them from being beheaded by the Muslim pirates who tried to behead them. That nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to say, oh, leathernecks, why do they call it? Nobody asks that question. If we lose in 2020, America will decline quickly. It won't compare to what Obama did. It will be much worse, Robin. I agree. Seeing all the reports, how easy it is to hack the results. Yep. Very easy. And California learned that a long time ago. Antifa will be nuts then. They're nuts now, Kat. They're only going to get worse. Lawlessness is only going to get worse. I'm not saying that because I believe that. I'm saying that because it talks about it in the Bible. And so that's our factual information. That's our truth. And that's where it comes from. Yeah, and look around the country at what's happening. West Virginia. Hey, Josette, good morning, my lovely Sue. And the girls just came from out Imagine last night on Laura Juan Williams defended Antifa even though they threatened the POTUS. Yeah. Juan Williams he's just gone to me. I don't even, anything he says, I don't even listen. You had a report on CNN backing Antifa again. Of course. Of course. Look at all the lawlessness. In West Virginia, four state Supreme Court justices have been impeached for their spending habits. Basically, they signed documents in the roles of chief justices allowing for senior status judges to be paid higher wages than what was legally allowed. They spent, like, for example, renovating their offices $500,000, and another one spent $363,000 on their office. Yeah, Kat, me either. Juan is absolutely gone. Yeah, Juan doesn't exist to me. He's like a Geraldo Rivera, only worse. I read Revelations again the other day. These people better wake up. It's going to be bad. Oh, yeah, Kim. Thank goodness the Lord is still on the throne. Yes, Teresa. They wanted to impeach the whole court. Good riddance. Yeah, and they basically have, Barbara. All four have been impeached. Now, impeachment does not remove them from office. The impeachment then has to go to for the state courts to rule on it, or go to their state senate, and it's by 2/3 majority. So they've gotten this far with it. Now it has to go, and they have to be voted out by the state senate by 2/3 majority. So we'll see what happens. They should go ahead and do it because that's what that's what the lawmakers want, and they've all voted together for that. And I just went, this is a total aside, but I was watching the press conference for Molly Tibbetts, the young lady that's missing in Iowa. I think she's been missing since about July 18th. She was taking care of her boyfriend's dogs, went out for a walk, may have gone back to his apartment, and then went missing. I was so disheartened, I guess is the word I have to use, yesterday when during the news conference, the comments from the people were, why does this woman get special coverage? What about all the other missing people? What makes her so special? And I was sitting there thinking, maybe because her parents really stepped up and tried to get the the people involved, the media involved, and that's why they're mentioning Molly over everybody else. But can you imagine? No matter who it is, no matter whose child they're trying to return, and they get on there, people have to make it somehow a racial issue, a gender issue, a poverty issue, whatever. You can't just say, wow, we need to find this child, we need to find other children. Where are these people who are sitting there commenting about, about her getting special treatment over the other children? Where were you trying to get the news out about the children that were missing? I don't know. That to me was so disheartening. And people were sitting there commenting, oh, well, you know what? I think she's dead. I know her parents don't want her to be dead, but I think she's dead. I mean, you're saying that when her parents may be watching, because she's an American girl from Heartland where nothing happens. Exactly, Barbara. But they made it about race and everything else. And it's like, my God, parents fought back. That's right, Barbara. But what's happened to people? Seriously, what's happened to people? And people all over. We've got people on our side who are following a letter, that aren't even in the reality of things going on. People should just be quiet of nothing good if they don't have anything good to say. I believe that too, Jules. Morality issues, yes, Brandon. God is not in them. I'm telling you, Marlene. It's just, I hate to say it this way because I miss my parents a lot, but I'm almost thankful that my parents are dead, that they don't have to see this stuff. Oh my God, True Pundit story. Brenda Robin Gritz is dead. Moore was, yeah. I don't. Jerry, I don't know. They need to shut up and pray. No one knows what's happening to all these people that are missing, Robin said. Yep. No father, no husband, no children, no help, Darlene said. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Darlene. A lot of the children that are missing are from the foster care system. And they go missing and nobody goes looking for them. And so that's government involvement. Makes me worry about grandchildren. Well, Teresa, I'm sorry to say, I think if you have grandchildren or children these days, you better not stop praying. That's all I have to say. I mean, I don't see things, like, woo, this is great. I'm so thankful I don't have young children with all that's going on. I know, Kim. I feel sorry for people who are bringing babies into the world. And I know you're supposed to, and it says so in the Bible, that you're just to go about your business and continue on doing God's purpose until he comes back. But boy, that scares me, seeing these young kids come into the world. I really wished for them a better world than what we have right now. I wish for them a world from a long time ago. And not to say, yeah, I know, any good news, I wish I could find it for you, Brandon, I really do. Other than God's still on the throne, that's it. It's about time they fired Strzok. Yep, but he's getting rich, Papa. He's getting rich. He's gotten already probably over $250,000 at this point in a GoFundMe account that the liberals are running for him. Another Arkansas, yeah. I don't know. Seriously, it's getting to the point that the only good news is the fact that God is still in control, that God is still on the throne, that God has us, that we don't need to fear. It's going to go according to God's plan. And just, if you want to follow a plan, then follow God's plan, not some letter of the alphabet. I'm so protected over my children. They are very aware of why. I know where they are at all times and who they are with, Robin said. Yep. Amen, Kim said. I just think that, our society, we're so broken up in so many different directions. Amen. Maybe we are closer to heaven. Teresa, we are. I'll briefly tell you that Amir was talking about Turkey, Russia, and Iran. All three of them have basically suffered greatly financially because of the sanctions against them. So if you're standing there and you need money and you're standing around one of the richest countries in the world, where are you going to go? And that's Ezekiel 38 and 39. Is that coming? Yes, it will eventually be here. Is that coming tomorrow? I don't know. On your side, following a letter, what letter? Don't send them to liberal colleges. They will undermine every godly thing you taught them, Marlene said. I honestly think it could be any day. Lee, it could be any day. Absolutely could be any day. And just be ready. You know, if you believe in God, you've given your life to Christ and accepted him as that he died and rose again for you, you're all ready. We do not follow any letter. That's true, Barbara. We don't. If they don't care about the unborn, they wouldn't care about anyone else. Sad to say, but God in his love takes note of all this. Yeah, when you have killed over 60, probably 60 million babies since 1973, how can God be happy? Except the letter of the law of God. Yes, Barbara. Keep your lamps full and your wicks trim, Marlene said. Yep, Maranatha. That's right, Carmen. And so, once again, you know, this in the politics and political world has me, I guess, really upset. When I heard about Turkey, I immediately thought of Israel and Turkey needing war to generate money. Yep. It just gets me upset because I know where we are on the timeline by looking at politics, by looking at what people in politics are doing, by looking at people being exalted for lying, deceit, cheating, stealing, criminal acts, lawlessness, whatever. That tells you where we are. That tells you of the chaos that we're living in. The end is near. Yes, it is. It always has been since the beginning. And it's getting closer every day. How close? Don't know. Don't know when. Only God knows that. And that's it. We have the blueprint and the headlines are confirming the word. Absolutely, Brandon. Absolutely. And I guess what frustrates me more is that people who know better, you know, should be watching the headlines and knowing where we are and stop doing the things that they're doing. That pastor needs to come home, or Turkey says bye-bye. Barbara said people are blind. And the Bible does say that people will be blinded, Brandon, and we are seeing that they are. We are seeing that they are. And again, as I talked about yesterday, that church in the church in Santa Cruz, if you're a member of that church in Santa Cruz, do I think Trump is a godly man? Do I think anybody is a godly man? Why? That's not my judgment. God is a sinner. God is not a sinner. Trump is a sinner just like you, EQ. Just like me, EQ. So are you a godly man or woman? Should I be judging whether you are or not? I can tell you right now, I judge you that you are a sinner. And I judge Trump that he is a sinner as well. And I judge myself that I'm a sinner as well. Hey, Nina, good to see you. I'm just asking. Well, what do you think, EQ? Do you think he's a godly man? Know them by their fruits. Exactly. You know, I mean, again, people spend so much time, you know, in even asking the question, it's a setup. So glad I have praying faith parents who taught us God. Yep, we're all sinners just in different ways. That's right, Jules. And by, as I said, hey, Patrick, by people even asking, do you think God, that Trump is a godly man? It is a setup, EQ, because there are godly men, but even the godly men are sinners. So it doesn't make sense to ask a question like that. It really doesn't. You know, sometimes people act godly. Sometimes they don't. But Christians turn away and repent. Yep, sin is sin is sin is sin. Marlene said, never had a president talk the way he does. And you've never had a president, EQ, that's gotten things done the way he does, that has gone in and uncovered the swamp and has brought out evil from the swamp like you've never seen before. You've never seen that either. And you've never, you know, that's what I'm saying. And people judge him. What about David? David was a man for God's heart. And look at what David was. You know what David did? David sinned with another woman while he was married, and he even had that woman's husband killed, and God still loved him. Yeah. Yep, many act godly in public and are horrible. That's right, Nina. Never seen a street fighter is the problem. Exactly, Barbara. God can use rocks, donkeys, and a bush. He can use anyone. Exactly, Teresa. Abomination talks smooth, but screwed over USA behind the scenes. Exactly, Jules. Never had a president with a backbone like Trump. That's right. God sees all, Brandon said. Only God knows his heart. That's right, Robin. And it's not for me to judge. People trying to insinuate Trump is not godly. Nobody is without sin, especially those judging Trump. Exactly, Molly. Okay, bye, EQ. My thing is that what you should ask is, let he without sin cast the first stone. Trump is a David for our time, Barbara said. And again, if you think that you're sinless, then talk about Trump's sins. The world needs godly people to rise up and go into office. Yeah, Darlene, they do. But what they're going to get imperfect people in office. It's always going to happen because there's no person that is perfect. God will allow even evil to accomplish his purpose. That's right, Marlene. And I don't know. Again, people focus on, and I'm not, I know EQ thinks I was pinpointing EQ, but I'm not. People focus so much on whether Trump is a godly man, is he a sinner, well, what about this? And again, you don't have facts, you just have opinions on that. But basically, why are you so focused on that? Why don't you focus on your own sin as much as you focus on some other guy's sin? Only Jesus was perfect. That's right, Daniel. We need certain countries to set off events of the Bible, and you see those countries in the headlines. Exactly, Brandon. They're all lined up. Nina said yes. As it says in the Bible, take the sty out of your own eye before you sit there and judge everybody else. Look at that sty. Or log for some people. I mean, my gosh, when did people get to the point that they could sit there and point fingers at everybody else and say how bad they were? Evil person led me to Susan. Thank you, Carmen. Trump respects his mother's memory and was sworn in on the Bible. Yep. She gave him, the Bible she gave him. And again, he's not a perfect man. I know that already. Because nobody I know is perfect, including myself. So is that it? Would that be the end of the conversation? It should be. As I've said over and over, once again, learn the difference between discernment and judgment. Yes, Marlene. And as I've said over and over, if Trump slept with 100 women, then that's between him and his wife and God. If he's doing it in the White House, then I want to know about it because it's a national security interest. I hear Trump mention God a lot. Yes, exactly, Cam. And just like with, what's her name? Oh, Omarosa, going in and tape recording stuff in the White House. To me, I'm concerned about that because that is a national security interest that anybody would go into the White House and do such things. See you on Thursday. Okay, thanks, Brandon. Good luck at work tomorrow. Have a great one there. Once again, learn the difference between, a bot. Learn the difference between a bot and not. Exactly true. I mean, it's just amazing. So, again, I know, why isn't she in trouble? Well, she may be. Oh, is not a godly woman, then she cheated and lied. Yeah, well, Omarosa is just somebody who, she's not thinking about the long-term consequences. God's news, yes, God's views on political news, Marlene, today at 1 o'clock Eastern on Facebook, on the Facebook page, God's views on political news, and you'll be getting the replay at my SusanKnowles.com page after the show about an hour or so later. Be there or be square, right? Trump said on the tape he didn't want her to go. Now, he said, I don't love the fact that you're going, because he didn't know about it, John. And again, he's given, look how much opportunity he's given to Omarosa. And this is the thanks that she gives somebody who has helped her have a career that she would ordinarily have. Not a good example as a pastor's wife, in my opinion, or as a pastor herself, Barbara. She has a, tapes can be messed with, that's true. She has a doctorate in divinity or something like that. She is a drama queen. She has always been a drama queen ever since she was on The Apprentice. And she was nasty to people then. Just absolutely nasty, deceitful to people even then. So, again, the good news, if you want the good news, God is still in control. Just be ready. Life will be better when we're with God. I mean, that's it. Great scope, Susan. Have a blessed day. Thank you, Lee. She has more tapes. How can those be stopped? Maybe they can be. Wolves in sheep's clothing. See you at 1 o'clock. Okay. And not loving the fact he was ecstatic. He was not loving the fact he was ecstatic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's sorry that she cheated on him. That she cheated and basically is calling him out on stuff that he didn't do. She just deceived him. That's it. That's who Omarosa is, in my opinion. All right, everybody. God bless. See you on Thursday. All right, everybody on YouTube. See you at 1 o'clock on God's Views. If not, I'll see you Thursday.